Darlene Brown, no relationship to Shay Brown other than a good friend, a great colleague, and just a super woman. I'm so excited you're here. Look, Darlene, we're in the green room. I love being in the green room. Your bio is exhaustive. It's extensive. So do me a favor. Give me the narrative. Give me the backstory. Like, who is Darlene, and what are you up to these days?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you, Che, for inviting me to the show. And thank you to everyone that is tuned in to listen to a little bit more about who I am. First and foremost, I'm a mother, and I truly believe that I am here in this world to shine my light to any and everyone that I come across. And that might mean different things for different people. Sometimes it's just showing human compassion, a smile, a kindness, an act of kindness. Other times it's sharing information. Other times it's giving a word of inspiration, right? And so for me, that's who I am. I am a walking human being that wants to spread light and love to everyone.
God, I love that light and love to everyone. And sometimes the question is asked, like, what's your big why? And it could be a lot of things. And that's not what I'm concerned about right now. And I'm curious, what's your purpose in life for where you are today and where you're going?
Well, for where I am today, it is pretty much to be in a space of gratitude in every moment. And by that, I mean, life can throw us challenges or adversities. But for me, I approach it with the heart of gratitude because I'm here. No matter what it is that I'm facing, I'm here. And that's encouraging for me to know that I'm here so I can get through it. In terms of long term, where I'm going, it's just peace, right? It's not always about the hustle and bustle. Goals are important. Having a vision and knowing where you're going is important, but peace is a really big part of that for me. I've done a lot, I've learned a lot, I've lived a lot. And so I'm in a space where I'm peace, which is why I love the title of your show, Happy Entrepreneur. Because I think when you have peace, happiness is automatically there.
Yeah, that is so true. And as folks are tuning in right now, and I see James Green, who's out there local, and so many folks that are watching right now, they're probably wondering, what's Darlene going to be talking about today? Like, what can they expect on this episode?
Well, on this episode, I'm going to be talking about leadership, but more importantly, leaving a legacy. And I think that's critically important because when we hear the word legacy, we think that you no longer have to be living to leave one, and that's not true. And so I'm going to be talking about leadership and leaving a legacy.
And I know we're going to get going in just a moment. We got to get going in a second, so we're going to kick this thing off. But why is, when you hear the word legacy, why is legacy so important to you?
Legacy is really important to me. It has a lot to do with my parents, my father who's deceased. And I wasn't raised very close to his parents. But when I met them at a younger age, I realized the legacy that they had built the entire town that they lived in, Red Springs, North Carolina. They built the church, they built the pharmacy. The hardware store. I came from a family of brick masons. And that was the first time that legacy meant something. And they were all living, and obviously they were much older, but there was such a great deal of respect when they would walk through the town. Everyone knew who they was, and they knew that they had built the church, the store. And so that's where legacy really became important to me.
Yeah, and I know you're talking this evening or this morning, this afternoon when we get started, which we will in a moment. I love being behind the scenes. I love being in the green room, if you would.
Yeah.
You talk about leadership. Just before we get started, what's Darlene Brown's definition of a leader?
Oh, definition of a leader is how do you model what you say you are? So it's not just saying it, it's how do you live that? Because it's easy to talk about, I'm this and I'm that, or these are my philosophies, but I think leadership is how you live, how you model it. And that is first reflecting yourself, because you first lead yourself before you lead other people.
I love it. You're a leader of one before you're a leader of many. I love it. I'm excited. This is going to be just one of those episodes. Sometimes we talk about the results that show up in your life are just as
Yeah.
important as the results that show up in your bank account. We're talking about getting results in your life right now. And you can be a leader
Yeah.
of one before you're a leader of many. We're going to kick this thing off. They're giving me the cue. I got to get going. But I love being in the green room. I love the behind the scenes conversation. Shout out to Cynthia Green, who's out here as well watching. Tanisha Simpson, who's watching right now. B. Jetter, who's on here right now. All of you tuned in. You're in for a treat. We're going to get ready to give me the cue in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's showtime. That's the promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources. That means it takes revenue to execute the vision. That takes revenue that you have first for yourself, how you want to live, the food that you want to eat, the clothes you want to wear, the things you want to do with your family. That takes resources, revenue. It takes resources to execute the vision you have for your loved ones, which Darlene was just talking about. The family you want to take care of, the healthcare insurance that you want. And more importantly, it takes resources to send your kids to a school of your choice or to take them to those fancy restaurants with the white tablecloths that you want to hang out with. I got you. But more importantly, for all you entrepreneurs, we're on a mission to give you the resources to execute that vision that you have for the people you were called to serve. It takes revenue to purchase marketing. It takes revenue to purchase a team. It takes revenue to purchase social media ads. It takes revenue to do the things you want to do. And so this morning, this evening, this afternoon, no matter what time it is, wherever you are in the world, we got the one and only, the fabulous one, none other than Darlene Brown, who's talking about leadership and legacy with that big smile on your face. What's up, Darlene Brown?
Thank you so much, Che, for having me on the show. I am excited to be here, and thank you to everyone who is tuning in and watching. And I'm excited to be able to share my perspective on leadership and leaving a legacy.
Well, I tell you what, anyone that starts off that has the last name Brown is cool. Anyone that starts off, you know their family when they say Che, not Shay. So you know their family. So you know that she's in the house. When you bring out a brother Bedford who's in the house and a Robert Antonio and so many folks that are listening, then I just got the all-stars here. Let me jump right into it. People hear the word leadership all the freaking time. And in fact, I'm about as sick of leadership as I am social media. But since that's the title we're talking about today, it's important. Talk about the difference between a leader as an entrepreneur or business owner and a leader of an organization. Is there a difference? And if so, what is it?
Absolutely, I think there's a difference. An entrepreneur, clearly, they're leading themselves in the pursuit of their vision, whatever that might be. So you have entrepreneurs who they work for themselves and they have a business model, but they don't necessarily have a large team or people that they employ. And so in their leadership, when they think about, leading, it's pretty much how they're representing themselves, how they're leading themselves in pursuit of fulfilling that vision that they have for themselves as an entrepreneur. When you talk about being a leader in a business, particularly when you're running a business where you have employees, that shifts because not only are you leading and people are watching you, you're leading from the perspective of, I need to be in a position to create other leaders. Because when you have a business and that requires a larger team, there's a larger expansion of accountability. You are accountable, in the way I look at it, running a business, for every person that's in your company and all of their family members. So if it's a man and he has a wife and children, I think about the success of my business and how it impacts their children, because it's beyond just that person. And so I also understand that as a leader, I must model to create leaders.
What's the biggest challenge facing entrepreneurs today as it relates to being a leader?
I think that you have to be clear on your values. And values look different for different people. You know, you mentioned earlier about, yes, we need revenue to do certain things, and I believe that revenue is essential, but I don't think that we should compromise our values in pursuit of achieving revenue. And I think that leaders, they put, most importantly, people over politics. And while profits are essential, you can't grow your business, you can't develop new products without people. So if you put profits over people, then that's a value statement. And we see that a lot, bottom line, so to speak. People are sacrificed because of bottom line. I tend to think that if I am invested in my people will invest in my product. They're more committed. And that's not Darlene's rule, that's been proven. I mean, you can look at some of the big companies out here today, like Google, right? Like Amazon. And if you do the research, you'll see the culture that they've set up is one that they really do value people. While profits are important and they are in the business to have a profit, they don't compromise the value of the people, the person that's actually in the ground doing the work. And so that's really important as a leader.
And, you know, I know that you've studied leadership. You've been a leader in corporate America. You've been a leader as a business owner and an entrepreneur. And I see that something that you do regularly. I guess the proverbial question, the elephant in the room, and you're going to give us characteristics of leaders later and all that stuff. But the big elephant in the room has to be the big proverbial question. I just want your perspective on it, which is, are leaders born or are leaders made? It's a proverbial question. If I didn't ask that, then we've got to have your perspective.
Yeah, so here's my perspective. I think that leaders are born, but they have an obligation to develop what that gift is that they're born with. And so look at it, the best analogy I could give you, you could meet a person that has a beautiful voice and can sing, but that person can improve on that gift when they learn how to breathe correctly. The gift suddenly is amplified and expanded. They were born with it, they could sing, but the moment they go and understand how to breathe and how to hold a note and things of that nature, they now amplify that gift. So I do think that leaders are born. I think that the gift of leadership is intuitively into a person that is born with it, but they have a responsibility to cultivate that gift. I'm definitely a born leader. You could not have told me that when I was 7, but now that I'm an adult, when I think back to when I was 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, I see that the leader was there.
Tell us how you can see the leader was there. Don't just leave us hanging. Give us a story or kind of tie the two together for me.
On the playground, you know, this is what we're gonna do. Rallying everybody around, taking charge. This is what we're gonna do. Even growing into my teenage years, you know, a group of people. What are we gonna do? I'm the one that says, okay, here's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna pull this. So the person that would step out front to grab a hold to an idea, vision, and then put it together to move forward. Because that's a leader. You have a lot of people with great ideas, great concepts, they create, but the execution is in the leadership. There's always that person that's going to get out front. Even when they don't have all of the pieces, all the answers, they're going to take movement and they're going to execute. That's a leadership trait. And you have courage. It requires courage. You can't be afraid, right? Meaning, I don't know. I mean, in my journey, I have not had all the answers, but I was never afraid to execute, because in that execution, I got an outcome. Now, whether it was the outcome I desired, it wasn't lost because I learned, which made me equipped for the next execution.
So important for those folks that are watching right now and listening. You listen to the one and only Darlene Brown, by the way, and she's going to be breaking it down and giving us the 3 characteristics that every leader has to have. I'm going to answer that question. Don't worry about that. But what I'm curious about, Darlene, is what are 3 characteristics that a leader has to teach their people to do? Because you talked about execution, and I know one of the challenges I've had, and it may not be anyone listening, it might just be me, is as a leader, I'm always thinking, well, I can do it faster, or oh my gosh, if there's a mistake, I got to go clean up anyway, and it's double work. So when we come back, I want you to talk about, when we come back, the challenge that leaders have on how they should train other folks and pass those characteristics on. So the question would be, how do you train other people to be leaders? I mean, that'll be the question, because sometimes you're the leader, but you can't do everything. When we come back, which we will be in just a moment, Darlene Brown's going to break that thing down for us, and she's going to share with us as she slides back to the other side, by the way. There you go, the other way, that way, come back that way. Yes. We were losing you on the screen for a minute.
Wait a minute. There we go.
There you are. Now you're back on that. Don't worry, she ain't leaving. She ain't scared of that question. She ain't. I said the word ain't.
I'm not going anywhere.
We come back. I'm going to ask you to break down, how do you transfer your leadership skills over to someone else? Like, how does one leader transfer? We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to go to a break. We're going to go over down to Houston, Texas, to Dorsey Hill. And Dorsey Hill says, one thing you need to do to shift the needle. But we come back in less than 2 minutes. Darlene Brown's going to break it down. How do you transfer your leadership skills from yourself over to others so they can actually execute the plan, which I have a hard time doing. So I got to understand how to do this myself. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay. Take it away, Dorsey.
Hey there. I'm so excited to be back in the Happy Entrepreneur Tribe, sharing my thought of the week. Why I'm excited to do this? Because it's my January 1st. It's my January 1st. I am, in case you don't know, Dorsey Hill, the founder of the Healthy, Happy, Fun Life Network and Academy, and I'm so glad to be back with you amazing entrepreneurs, sharing my thought of the week, which happens to be one thought, one thing you can do in 1 minute for 1 week to shift the needle in your life and your business. Are you guys ready? Okay, it's breathing. Oh my gosh, it's so simple, yet it's something we don't do regularly. So I want you to do it with me here. I want you to take a breath for 4, hold it for 4, and then exhale for 4. So take a breath and hold. Exhale. Did you even see my shoulders come down just a little bit? We get so frustrated, when we're working on new launches or new employees, new whatever it is, that we forget, we get all anxious and all frustrated and overwhelmed, and we forget to breathe. So try this for 1 minute every day for 1 week and see if you don't start to notice a decrease in your level of stress. Your shoulders aren't hugging your ears and you're just feeling overall a little bit better, and that you're finding the problems the solutions to the problems you have are coming to you much quicker and faster. Or if all else fails, you can try bubble wrap, because who doesn't feel better with bubble wrap, right? It's easy peasy. Squeezy. I mean, it's so much fun. All right, so remember to breathe, have your bubble wrap handy, and remember, as always, my wish for each and every one of you is that you're happy, you're healthy, and having a ton of fun in this life and business that you're living and creating. My biggest Texas love and hugs to each and every one of you. Bye for now. Mwah.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And the mission is to empower, it is to inspire, and it's to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And we're speaking with the one and only Darlene Brown, building a legacy through leadership. Isn't that just amazing? And the question I'm going to ask her is, Darlene, one of the challenges I face, and maybe a number of folks that are watching right now, is how do we transfer leadership skills from ourselves over to our team so they can execute the vision? As she's getting ready to answer that question, for those folks out there like B, Jacqueline Jetter, who says execution is a leadership trait for sure, do me a favor. Hit the share button right now. Hit the watch party button. Pay this message forward. When you hit the watch party button or hit the share button, if you're watching it online, like on Apple TV, I know you can't do it, or Amazon or Roku, or listen to the podcast. But if you're watching the broadcast, hit that button right now and just put execution is a leadership trait. Hashtag Darlene Brown. Just put hashtag Darlene Brown. All right, Darlene Brown, take it away if you would. Take it away. How do we transfer these skills over?
Transfer these skills? Well, the first thing is you as a leader must be consistent. I believe that people are always watching, and so who are you when no one is watching? So you have to be consistent. But the other thing is then you have to position other people to lead. And that means recognizing a skill, a strength in them, and then delegating a task to them, and then supporting them in the process, not doing it for them, guiding them. And encouraging them to know it's okay. You may make a mistake, but making the mistake is part of learning, and that's part of how you become a better leader. So I'll give you a clear example. I'm an officer in my church ministry. I'm in my second year. I intentionally chose to be the VP. When the former president stepped down, the secretary said, okay, are you going to go for the president's spot? And I said, no, you are. So she was the secretary. And when that president stepped down, I encouraged her to move into the president's slot, although everyone on the board knew that I could be the president. And I did so intentionally because as a leader, I wanted to equip her to lead. And then I was there as a leader to support and guide her. And so I think often as a leader, you're going to have to put those that you lead in positions and encourage them and support them, even when they're not confident that they can do it. Because once they move into it and you there to guide and support them, they then realize, I can do this. I actually can lead. And so we have to be able to do that for other people as well.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just curious. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just curious. How do you handle it when they screw up? I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, I'm just curious. Like, for example, you put someone in a position and you trust them, and they screw up, and the buck still falls on you. How do you handle those situations?
I mean, here's the reality. We all mess up. And so when they mess up, part of being a leader is being accountable. But it's not the end of the world, right? What did you learn? Are you better equipped from that experience to make a better decision the next time? And I believe in accentuating the positive, because when we mess up, we tend to fall in, oh, I messed up. I knew that this wasn't going to be right. I knew I couldn't do it. And you want to be able to shift that mindset and say, it's okay. Everybody messes up. And yes, sometimes you have to be mindful and proactive to mitigate risk. That's something that a leader does. They mitigate risk. They are proactive more than they are reactive. And so because of that, they are strategic in seeing things beyond where they are. That comes with experience. You may not know that right out the gate as a new leader, but that's something that you learn the more that you lead. So when people that on my team make mistakes, yes, be accountable, but we don't stay there to harp on it. What's the next move? How do we turn this around? What can we do now to mitigate? What can we do to repair from the mistake? You have to be in a position to shift focus, because too often we stay stuck in the I made a mistake. And you don't want to get stuck in I made a mistake. You want to say, What did I learn from the mistake? What will we do differently? How do we ensure? That's why in any company that you run, corporate, private, and hopefully entrepreneurs, you'll do this after you produce a product and you take it to market. You should be able to sit back and assess, what were the lessons learned? What did we learn? How did we evaluate this process to know that it meant everything? And where are the vulnerable entry points in which we can improve? You should always be doing what I call a reflective assessment period after everything that you do, whether it's a product going to market. And in my business, I do a lot of work with the federal government. And so there's always the performance review, right? There's always, let's look at what you did in the last year. Did you meet the deliverables? And how close to the mark of excellence or the standard did you come to meet it? What can you do better in the next year?
God, I like that.
Because everyone has room for improvement. I don't care how great you are. Everyone has room for improvement.
Everyone has room for improvement. Everyone gets a fresh start. What are the 3 leadership characteristics that you believe? What are the characteristics? I'll frame the question this way. What are the characteristics that you feel are important for a leader to have? Maybe 3 characteristics that you feel are very important for a leader to have. For those folks that are out there, we're talking to Darlene Brown, Linda Reese, who's watching, and so many of you out there right now. Edith Hall out there in Las Vegas. We appreciate you. Linda Reese put down, you learn more from failure than success. And boy, is she so right. What's up, Lawrence Hood? Thanks for joining. We appreciate every single one of you. Rodney Middleton, Melissa, all of you who are watching right now. Hit the share button, hit the watch party button, pay the message forward, and type those words. You learn more from failure than you do success. Hashtag Darlene Brown. So Darlene, what are the 3 characteristics? In fact, we're going to take a commercial. We're going to come right back in just a moment, and she'll come firing away with the 3. I didn't say the 1. I didn't say the 2. The 3 characteristics that every leader must have that's important to her. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to go over to the one and only Dr. Kenneth Thigpen. And Dr. Kenneth Thigpen talks about direction determines your destiny. What? Direction determines destination. We'll be back. Let's go down to Raleigh, North Carolina. Be back in just a moment.
Hello, it's your girl, Dr. Kenneth Thigpen, also known as Dr. K, founder of Rise Women's Network. And Rise Women's Network is pleased to present to you, hashtag Next Sister Up. I'm with you in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, and today is my January 1st. Here's your thought of the week. Direction determines destination. And when I think about direction determining destination, I think about being a Girl Scout when I was a young kid. And we would have these sashes and we would have the opportunity to earn badges. And one of the badges that I had a chance to earn was the Wilderness Badge, where our troop leaders took us to the wilderness to go camping. They gave us a destination in which we had to get to, and they gave us a compass to help direct us to that destination. Now, from that, there's 2 big lessons that I learned. The first one is it's important to have the right resources. And so while we were camping, we had a compass. Now, I'm sure most of us are not using compasses, but we are using maybe a GPS. And there's other resources that we need in business and in life. And so it's important that we first evaluate if we have the right tools and resources. The second thing is that one of the resources we had were our troop leaders. And so those troop leaders, they knew where we were going. They had the knowledge, the skills, and the expertise. Same thing in business and life. It's important that we surround ourselves by individuals who have the knowledge, the skills, and expertise. Maybe it's a coach or a mentor that can help provide direction by offering a blueprint. And the second big thing I learned was it's okay to change direction. And so although the destination remains the same, it's okay if we change how we get there. And so remember, direction is a vision offered to explain why, where directions are instructions given to explain how. I'm your girl, Dr. K. Make it a great day.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. That is to empower, that is to inspire, and that is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute that vision. Yeah, the vision that you have for the people you were called to serve. And that vision takes resources, which means it takes revenue to make it happen. And so we're talking about building leadership through legacy with Darlene Brown. And the question I have for Darlene Brown now are, what are the 3 characteristics that she feels are necessary that every leader must not only possess, but continue to improve upon?
So I have something that I think the 3 H's. Let's just say you need to be an honest leader. And that equates to your integrity, your business ethics. You have to be honest. The other thing, I think you also as a leader need to be humble. Success can give you an inflated ego, especially if you come from humble beginnings and you strive to reach a level where you are in a position financially to be a huge blessing to other people. Being humble is really important as a leader. And the other thing I'm going to say, you have to have a heart. You have to care about other people, because in leadership, you are only as successful through the people that either support what you are doing in your business, in your vision, especially when you have a team of employees, whether it's 10 or 200 or 5,000. It's important. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a product, you need to have a heart, because you need to care about what is the impact of your product to whomever the targeted audience is. You need to care about the quality of that product, the value that it brings to them, right? As well as the price point that's associated with it. Because I do believe that everyone has the ability to have a product or vision that creates impact of improving the lives of others. And if you do it from a place of your heart and not just driven from the price point, by default, it will expand and take off. That's so if I've had to say it that way, yes. Be honest, because that equates to your integrity, right? Be humble, because no matter how big you get, you're still going to be able to meet someone where they are. And then the other thing is really have a heart. When you care about what you're doing and the ability of what you're doing to have a great impact in improving someone else's life, that's the heart part.
So very well said. And when you wrote that title, Building a Legacy Through Leadership, what was on your mind? What were you thinking about? Bring the 2 together, legacy and leadership. So for those folks that are listening right now, kind of frame that conversation for them, if you will.
It has a lot to do with me coming up from humble beginnings, right? And knowing what it's like being born in the 60s and growing up in New York, and at times where they were challenging, and sometimes there wasn't always food, and just challenges, real life challenges. But yet I was afforded opportunities to see the other side, those that maybe didn't have those challenges. And I think from that experience, it motivated me to want more. But as I got more and more success, there was something missing. So I accumulated a great deal of financial wealth, was able to live a life of luxury, but within myself, it was like, is this it? There's got to be more to it. And that's the part where I'm talking about the heart. I wanted to be in a position to make a difference and have impact, and not just about me living a life. And I thought about my children and how was this success that I had achieved going to position not just them, but their children's children. And I thought about where I came from and those hard times and those tough times, and how I wanted to position my great-great-grands to be in a position where they could not have to deal with some of those same challenges and those hardships. So that's really where I began to understand legacy. And as I shared earlier, meeting my grandparents later in my life and realizing that they had built the whole town. But here's where it really came home for me. I have adult twins, and they both graduated college, and they never worked for anyone else. And when when they came out of college and we talked about what they were going to do, it was never a discussion about, well, we're going to go get a job. When we asked why, because they watched their parents build businesses. And you will be amazed to know that children pay attention more to what you do than what you say. And so that is really when it came full circle for me to see, wow, and me pursuing my dream, my vision for what I wanted in my life, I was in default thinking about setting up a better life for me and my children when they were little. But ultimately in doing that, then when they became adults, they were already equipped from watching their parents lead and have businesses. So leaving a legacy is really, really important, because whether it is they know what kind of business they want, they just understood the concept that I can work for myself. And even if I go out, I have a degree that I can go work for someone else, but I have skills and talents that I can get out here and do it for myself. And I can do it now when I'm young and have the energy and don't have children to take care of, to build this foundation. So they position themselves in a much better place than, say, when I was their age. That's really important.
You know, it's time to build a legacy, leave a legacy through leadership. Very, very important topic. For those folks that are out there, you're listening to the one and only Darlene Brown. I should put the doctor in front. She is Dr. Darlene Brown. What's up? What's up, Dr. Brown in the house, by the way. And we come back, we're going to learn more about this building a legacy through leadership. For those folks out there that like Kenya Bradley, who says, thank you for all of your awesomeness. My sister, keep rocking. And Shay, you always rock. This battle's not about me, but it's about you, Darlene. She said they're out there to listen to you right now. Armand McCarroll is out there. Cynthia Green said leaders should be honest, humble, and have a heart. Dr. Renee Smith, it is always a pleasure. We'll be back in just a moment, less than 2 minutes, with the one and the only Darlene Brown, who's breaking it down for us. We're going to go over to Rob Howes right now. And Rob Howes is in Laurel, Maryland, right around the corner. And he talks about be present where you are. We'll be back in just a moment, less than 2 minutes.
Hey guys,
All right.
me and Daddy are here.
All right, I'm doing a video.
I got a question.
No, it's not a question. This is a video where I'm telling people something. I'm telling them that today is their January 1st. Today is your January 1st Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, because today is the only day you got, because tomorrow's not promised and yesterday is gone. So the reason why today being your January 1st is significant, because it keeps you from procrastination. Procrastination is the destroyer of dreams. Yeah, it's the destroyer. It's the killer of dreams. So take action. Be present where you're present. That's the real gift. Be present where you are present. That is the real gift. Today is your January 1st. Say today.
Today.
Say today is your January 1st.
Today is January 1st.
Say it loud.
Today is January 1st.
That's it. Don't forget it.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Tribe, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission, and that is to empower, that is to inspire, and that is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And we're talking to the one and only Dr. Darlene Brown. And I want to ask her a question during this segment around today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are listening for the first time, that are tuning in for the first time, today is my January 1st is one of the core values of the Happy Entrepreneur Show. And today is my January 1st represents a new start. It represents a beginning. It represents a do-over. It represents your past does not equal your future. It represents a jump start to wherever it is you want to go. And so my question to Darlene Brown is very important. But before I do that, every one of you that's watching right now, whether you're watching live or maybe you're watching the replay or maybe you're listening to the podcast, but I want you to write these words down right below the video. If you can't write below the video because you can't see it, just write today is my January 1st. I'm ready for a rebirth. Today is my January 1st. I will leave a legacy through leadership. Today is my January 1st. I am the leader that I was called to be. Write that down. Dr. Darlene Brown, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what does it mean to you? And secondly, what was your January 1st moment? Those are moments throughout the day. And for you, when was that moment you made a decision that you were going to really plant your flag and be an entrepreneur and, in fact, be a leader as an entrepreneur? And that day forever changed the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, that would be back in 1995. Mm-hmm. That was a pivotal moment, the day that I said, I'm going to do it. In fact, I was working for a company at that time, Freddie Mac, and to my surprise, I was let go. and I have to tell this story, and I'm highly qualified, right? So who saw that coming? I didn't. And I began to go on interviews and could not get an offer, and I am qualified, and I decided I'm going to hire myself. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to offer me a position. I'm going to hire myself. And in that moment, Brown Eyes Productions was born. So that's pretty pivotal.
Very pivotal. And we hear the words, today is my January 1st. What does that mean to you?
Well, every day is a new start. Do something greater, right? Just keep going. No matter what, a lot of times, we'll say, okay, I have a plan and, I'm following these steps. And if things don't go the way you think they should, you get discouraged. But as long as you're here, every day is a new day to keep going, to start over, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And, once you made that decision that this is my January 1st, where were 1, 2, or 3 steps or things you did immediately to get on that path?
Prayer is a big part of my life. Mm-hmm. So let me just say, I pray first over everything. Faith, because it's an action thing. So I believe, more importantly, I know. And that knowing has been a continual progression, right? It's grown stronger with each new day. So I know that I am here to be successful, and I am. And so a lot of it has to do with that belief and then the doing, right? You have to take action. So, without going spiritual, but that's who I am, you can pray for something, but then it's not just going to magically appear. You have a responsibility and an obligation to then do something. And so I believe in taking action, having a clearly well-defined plan. Even if you don't have all of the information, start somewhere. I think Dr. Martin Luther King, the late, said, take the first step. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. And so by that, that's what I mean, like take action. Do something.
Yeah. There are a number of folks right now that are writing, today is my January 1st. You got Tanya Joyner Scott, who's out there right now, says every day is a new start, a new day to keep going. And how true is that? My question to you is, a number of folks are making that decision. And anytime you make a decision throughout the day, that is a January 1st moment. You have several of those throughout the day. You either go to the gym or you sit on the couch. You either eat hamburgers and French fries, or you go to the refrigerator, you open it up, and there's some kale in there, and there's some celery, and there's some broccoli. That might sound pretty good to some of y'all right now, and that's there for you. My question to you is, what does Darlene Brown do to stay the course? Once she makes a decision, how do you remain consistent? And then part 2, how do you train other people to be consistent? Because I'm going to tell you right now, some folks, I don't know if you noticed, Darlene, but January 17th was National Ditch Your Resolution Day. That no, seriously, you can go Google that right now. National Ditch Your Resolution Day was on January 17th. So there's some folks that are watching right now, myself included, that wrote some goals down back on December 31st. And if you were to ask them right now, what was their New Year's resolution, they couldn't even tell you. In fact, they're like, Shay, New Year's resolution? That was so long ago. And it was less than 45 days ago. So my question to you, and it's a very serious question, how does Darlene Brown stay consistent? And then how do you as a leader teach other folks to stay consistent?
So for myself, it's one day at a time. So I can have a vision for where I want to be 6 months, but I still have to approach it one day at a time. And for me, what that is, I start my day the same way every day. And I've been doing that now for more than 15 years. And it is because I started and said, I'm going to do this today. And then the next day, I'm going to do this in terms of how I start my day. And that is, I start my day in meditation and affirmations and prayer. Self-care is the first thing. I don't care what anybody says. We all hear the cliche that your health is your wealth. Well, that's true. This is a physical body and there's a spirit inside, and you have to take care of that so that you are equipped to go out into this earthly realm to do whatever it is that you need to do. So that's what I do. It sets the tone for my day. It allows me to be aligned. It allows me to be open. I have more clarity, and I actually have more energy and strength. That's what I do every day, every morning, consistently, and I have been doing that for 15 years.
Wow, so important. Want to say hello to the one and only Dolores McDaniels is watching right now, and so many of you out there. Wish I can do a shout out for every single person. I'd be here all day and all night. We appreciate all of the viewers. We're here with Darlene Brown talking about building a legacy through leadership. We come back. I'm going to ask her the question, and she may or may not answer it, but I'm going to ask her, how does Darlene bounce back from a setback? How does she be a champion? Or maybe she's had nothing like that happen in her life. Maybe she has. We'll find out when we come back. We're going to go over down to Mobile, Alabama, to the one and only himself, Sakoni Prince. Mobile. And he says, don't forget where you come from. Be happy where you're going. How true is that? We'll be back in just a moment. Sakoni Prince, my man. Take it away.
Hello everybody, how you doing today? This is Sakoni Prince of SakoniPrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And I'm in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe giving you my thought of the week, and I'm doing it because you guys rock. And today is my January 1st. And my thought of the week this week is don't forget where you come from, but be excited about where you're going. Don't forget where you come from, but be excited about where you're going. On my hat right here, you can read the word Pritchard. And I was really raised in Pritchard, Alabama, which is on the outskirts of Mobile. And Pritchard wasn't known for being the best part of town, but actually that's my home. It's where I was raised, that's where I come from. But you know what? I didn't forget where I came from, but now I am excited about where I'm going. So I want you to do the same. Don't forget what went into making you who you are, where you came from, your background and your history. But I also want you to be excited about where you're going, because that's really what's going to make the difference in whether or not you keep moving forward. So many people want to remind you where you come from and what you've done in your past. But look, don't worry about your past. Focus on your future. And I want to make sure that you get there. Hey, look, this is Sakoni Prince of SakoniPrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And I'm in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, giving you my thought of the week. And I'm doing it again because you guys rock. Hey, look, back over to you, Shay.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country. We're on a mission. That is to empower, that is to inspire, and that is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. We're talking to Dr. Darlene Brown. We're talking about building a legacy through leadership, and I'm going to ask her a question that's around our Champions Creed. And for those folks that are listening for the very first time or watching for the very first time, the Champions Creed is one of my favorite segments. Of course, they're all my favorite segments, or we wouldn't do the segment, obviously. But this is really one of my favorite segments. And this is where we get a chance to recognize another entrepreneur. We get a chance to pat someone else on the back. We get a chance to applaud someone else, because so many times during the show, we spend a lot of time focusing on ourselves. We got to build ourselves, increase ourselves, grow ourselves. And that is important. You must be a leader of one before you're a leader of many. But now we're going to acknowledge another entrepreneur, and we're going to encourage them. So we're going to imagine we're running this race. We're in a marathon, but we're not running. I've run 5 marathons. We're not running this marathons. We're on the sidelines, and it's just as important. And we're giving them a high five. We're giving them water. How do you do that? I want you to look below the video right now. Look below the video and write these words. You are a champion. # never give up. Just put you are a champion. # never give up. That's your high five to another entrepreneur. That's your high five to another single mom, another single man, another person's out there every single day building their business, doing very, very well. And here's what was shared to me. As you're all writing, you are a champion, #, look right below the video and write those words, # never give up. When you see those words, hit the heart button, hit the like button, encourage someone else. Here's how I was encouraged. My mentor gave me this quote many years ago, 15 years ago. He said, Shay, say this in good times and say this in bad times. And it's called the Champion's Creed. Let me read that to you. The Champion's Creed, he said, Shay, do this. And for 15 years, I've held this near and dear to my heart. He says, Happy Entrepreneurs Champion's Creed. I am not judged by the number of times I fail. Boy, if I fail. But by the number of times I succeed. And the number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I can fail and keep trying. But I keep trying and I keep trying. As you're looking below the video right now and you're writing those words, you are a champion. Hashtag never give up. Encourage another entrepreneur. Now I'm going to ask Darlene Brown, our guest, a question. She can answer or she can do a pass. The question would be first, Darlene Brown, when is a time that you've had a setback in your life and how did you bounce back to it to be a champion? And number two, do you mind reading the Champion's Creed? I'll put it up if you can see it. And I want you, when you finish, to talk about what it means to be a champion. So let me put it up. Fun. Do you mind participating? This is a fun game.
Of course I will.
Okay, of course. We put her on the spot. Don't worry, y'all. We put her on the spot. But she said she'd do it. All right, here's the Champion's Creed. Read those words and then tell us what it means to be a champion. And tell us about the time you had a setback and what was the lesson you learned.
I am not judged by the number of times I fail, but by the number of times I succeed. And the number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I can fail and keep trying.
And keep trying and keep. We got to get in the Puff Daddy remix version.
Keep trying and yes, and don't stop. You know, that's the whole thing. You keep pressing towards the mark. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Right. So when is the time? I mean, there's been many times in my life that I've been faced with like, oh, and I'm human, right? So I have that feeling like, oh, but what's in me is greater and I know that I can overcome. And here's the thing. So Brown Eyes Productions was a company I started. Great success. Television, radio, just huge success. And then it came to an end. Not because of something I did, but because that was part of a divine plan. And out of that ending, divine empowerment was birthed. And what I can say is that every bit of success I had in Brown Eyes Productions equipped me to be prepared for the next level of success that I was able to achieve with divine empowerment. Now, in the moment of when that happened, I had feelings of, I don't understand why, what's going on, because I'm human. But because of who I am, I began to switch and say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to start something new. What did I learn? What can I build? What do I love? That's what I began to do. So in those moments when I was down, instead of staying down, I tapped into that creative part of me to begin to say, what can I build? What can I do new, now, exciting, better, start something new? And out of that, divine empowerment was birthed. And I can share that it was birthed at that crossroad. And so I hope that this encourages someone that's out there that may feel like, you know, I have big dreams and I have a vision, but I don't have a lot of this or I don't have a lot of that. Start with what you got, with where you are. Leverage your resources. The library is free. We live in a world of information highway. Get to a library if you don't own a computer. Find one, get on it, make it happen. You can do it. I know that it's true because I was able to build something greater at a moment when something that was great had ended.
Wow. So well said. When we come back, we're going to go into a rapid fire segment and have Darlene give her final thoughts. You can hear the fire coming out. Darlene Brown's hanging in with us. I appreciate her being on this late night show. I'm not going to say she's in the bed, but she normally sleep right now. but you know, sparked up. You know, woke up now. I can hear it in her voice. She said, wait a minute, you can do this thing. We're going to go over to New York, New York. So nice they named it twice. Gentleman by the name of Delano Johnson. Delano Johnson has a message that says, I refuse to live talented and broke. And as a leader, you don't have to be talented and you don't have to be broke. You can do this thing. You can make it happen. We come back in less than 2 minutes. Darlene Brown, we're going to rapid fire and then her final thoughts to close us out. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. Take it away, Delano.
I live in a city where there are more creative people per square mile than any other place on the planet. Question is, how many of them are successful? How many are just like I was, talented and broke? Being broke is more than just not having money. It's failure to turn opportunities into profitable businesses and relationships that last. My mother always said, people perish for lack of knowledge. A compass takes you in the direction of your destiny, but knowledge of obstacles and distractions will ensure you arrive safely. My mentor once said to me, if I had half your talent, I'd have 4 times my wealth. Since then, I made a promise to God. If he would help me unlock my earning potential, I would pay it forward and help others do the same. That's why I wrote this book, because God made us too talented to live our lives broke. That includes you.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission to empower, to inspire, and provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And we're speaking to the one and only Dr. Darlene Brown about building a legacy through leadership. And now we're in a rapid fire segment where I get to ask any questions that's on my mind. Dr. Darlene Brown didn't force me to ask any questions. Thank goodness some guests want me to ask these questions, but she gave me free will, and I certainly appreciate that. And then she has a minute or less to answer the question. I know, a minute or less. Don't worry, we told her a minute or less. They like the less part, by the way. But in all seriousness, you can take as much time as you want. But the first question that I have on top of mind to you is, can you share a lesson from a mentor that you learned along your journey that can help us?
Trust the process. Everything is a process. I think as entrepreneurs or business owners, we can be anxious about the outcome. And my mentor always told me, trust the process. Everything is a process. Don't rush it.
Trust the process. Fantastic. And what is one idea that you've learned as being in, I'm going to say the government space? I mean, in corporate America, being a business owner, working with folks who are not who are not full-time employees. I'll say it like that. The question is, as a leader, how do you lead individuals who are, I'll call them 1099s, and they have their own interests, but they're trying to serve your interests at the same time? What's one idea you would share for a leader that's doing that right now?
Maintain a good relationship, right? And that's really what it comes down to. Knowing that people that you meet, they may have a value, and in my business, they may be there for just a short time, but that doesn't mean that because they are, that there can't be great relationship, great dynamic, because they could go on to do other things. But if you maintain good relationships, then there's always the possibility and the opportunity that it could come back around, or that it's a bridge to someone or something else.
Good. So well said. How do you believe in yourself when no one else does? So how does one do that?
It starts with me. It's not about what I have to first believe it and know it for myself before anyone else could ever be convinced of it. It starts with me. And so that's so critically important. And when you ask the question about how I start my day, that's part of me taking care of me and what I need. Sure. I know that I am, and I believe that I know that, and other people will see the fruits of that or not. It's not for me to convince them, it's for me to live it.
Affirmations seem to be a very important part of who you are and what you do. Can you share maybe one or of your favorite affirmations? There's so many affirmations. I get it. So many quotes, so many thoughts. But what is something that Darlene Brown is constantly telling herself, maybe an affirmation or a belief that guides her that we can take away and we can use as well?
Well, in this stage of my life where I am, gratitude. gratitude dictates my life. And that just simply means I'm grateful for every day that I'm alive. I'm grateful for every opportunity that I'm afforded. I'm grateful for what I learned through those opportunities. I'm grateful for every person that I get to interact and exchange with, because in that I'm learning and perhaps they are learning, and that's something to be grateful for. So gratitude truly drives my life now.
Gratitude. I like that. Now, you mentioned so many things that you've done. You talked about raising twins. You talked about being an entrepreneur. You talked about working in corporate America, doing so many things. What is Darlene's secret, or what is her recommendation, I should say, in terms of time management? Like, how do you do it all? My grandmother used to always say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person, right? Yeah. The busy person always finds a way to make it happen. So my question to you is, how does Darlene Brown manage time, if that's even possible?
Right. So, no, I don't really manage time, but I compartmentalize my life. So that's why that 4:30 a.m. mornings are so important, because that's my time and my time with my divine being. And then I have time that I focus on work, and I am present in my work. I don't try to do a lot of different things. I'm present in what I'm doing. And then I allow myself to enjoy life. I cannot be a robot. So that just makes me less productive. So I learn to step back and enjoy life, whether it's going to a movie, a good meal, a play. I love the ocean, travel. I allow myself to do that and not feel like if I'm doing it, I'm missing out on something else, because life is short and you must have what I call the balance, compartmentalizing it.
I love that. Last question. I know you'll be giving final thoughts in a few minutes here, but last question on this segment. You mentioned you have 2 twins.
Yes,
and
I do.
Let's just imagine that in the future, they get a hold of this long lost video file. I don't know if it'd be still called videos, or maybe it's your great grandkids. And they get a hold of it. They find this for some reason, and they're looking at it right now. And Dr. Darlene Brown has an opportunity to give a message to her 2 children. And it's hard to do that because you have 2. So you got to say one. You got to say the same message to both people. I understand that. So it's one message. I have 2 with 2 different personalities. So I get it. 2 different personalities. But what core message would you want to share with your children right now that we all can eavesdrop in on?
Okay. So to my daughter, Taylor, I am so proud of your discipline. And she's the most disciplined person that I know. And her focus and her courage. And that would also be for her brother. He's very fearless. He does not allow himself to be consumed with other people think. He hones in, this is what I feel, this is what I want to do, and I go for it. So those are great character traits to have to be 27, and I'm so proud to see that in them.
Wow. Very, very powerful. When we come back, Dr. Darlene Brown's going to close us out. She's going to give us her final thoughts to empower, to inspire, to encourage, or just what she feels is in her heart right now that she wants to leave you with. I can't wait. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll go over to myself, Shay Brown. We'll be back in just a moment. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. And if you're like a number of my clients right now, where you are sick and tired of talking to unqualified people who don't want to do business with you, or you're tired of tracking down people and trying to convince them and persuade them to do business with you, and you're just wasting your time, or you're just totally frustrated, and it's time for you to increase your sales, then we are the sales team that you've been looking for. You see, the number one challenge facing entrepreneurs today is either lost leads. That means they met someone opted on their page, someone signed up on their webinar, someone said they were interested, and no one could follow up with them, no one could track them down, and you had to do it all yourself. Or you spend a lot of time talking to someone, you spend a lot of time sending them information, only to find out they were unqualified. You're like, I'm sick of talking to unqualified people. So if you don't want to sell, or you hate to sell because you want to do something else with your time, something else with your labor, like spend it with those that you love the most, or doing something entirely different, but I want you to pay close attention. I want you to text this number, because we're going to partner with you in 2 ways. First, we're going to look at doing a complete sales makeover for you. Okay, that's number 1. And then number 2, we're going to set all the qualified appointments you need without your labor so you can make sure things get done. And or we're going to have a dedicated sales team to go out and actually make the sale, get the credit card, get the contract, and bring it out. We are the sales team that you've been looking for. So it's just time for you to do a sales makeover. It's time for you to look at your whole sales process and have a structure, a system, a sequence so you can be scalable and you can really generate those sales. Here's what I want you to do for your sales makeover. Text the word makeover. Do it right now. Open up your phone right now. Text the word makeover, one word, makeover, to 202-999-3515. Let me get that to you again. Text the word makeover so you can look at your business to 202-999-3515 and just follow the instructions. So all you gotta do is follow the instructions and let's make over your business. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we're gonna make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and I'll see you on the other side. Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country. We're on a mission. That is to empower, that is to inspire, and that's to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources necessary to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And so we want to first thank Dr. Darlene Brown. We want to acknowledge her for spending so much time with us. I'm curious, before your final thoughts, what's one of the reasons you decided to even be here this evening? You could be asleep right now and you're getting up in just a couple of hours, but what's one of the reasons you decided to give of your time? You didn't ask for a Cash App payment. There was no Zelle payment needed.
No.
There was no check, but you said, I'm willing to pour out and serve. Just before I give you your final thoughts, what's one of the reasons you decided to be here on the Happy Entrepreneur Show?
Because I do feel that as much as I've been blessed, I'm here to be a blessing. This is an opportunity to share, and it might impact someone's life. I don't have to know them, but if I could do that, I'm grateful.
Well, certainly you've done that. You've provided so much value this evening. For those folks out there, the way you give a digital applause, you can look below the video. You can look below the video and write your #1 takeaway. You can put, thank you, Darlene Brown, or we appreciate you, Darlene Brown, or just great job, Darlene Brown, or you look great, Darlene Brown, because she's here right now and she came to give. She has a heart to give, by the way. She has a heart to serve, and it's just a fantastic human being and someone I've been blessed and honored to know today, and I look forward to continuing this great relationship we have. So with that being said, Darlene, thanks a lot. Go ahead and share your final thoughts to encourage, to inspire, or to uplift, or just thoughts is whatever's on your heart right now with the Entrepreneur Tribe. As we go back out there and do what we're destined to do, make a difference in the world, have more meaning in the world, and impact lives. Thank you so much. Take it away.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Che, for allowing me to hear. And let me just leave you with this. No matter where you are in your life in this journey, keep your faith, because that's important. Take care of yourself so you can be close and take care of your family. Monitor your finances. I think it's so important that you live beneath your means and not above it, because if you do that, then you will have more cash flow that you can invest and ultimately have more liquidity that you can then truly have impact to your legacy.
So well said. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you. For everyone out there, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the share button. For all those hit the share button, we appreciate it. For all those hit the watch party button, we appreciate it. I want every one of you to know that you all have greatness inside you. And for every single one of you, the best is still yet to come. The best is still yet to come. Why? Because today is your January 1st. You get a new start. Today is your January 1st. You're going to build that legacy through leadership. Today is your January 1st. You're going to get that business plan done. You're going to get that contract. You're going to go serve more people. And you're going to first do what Darlene Brown said, have self-care first so you can take care of other folks. With that being said, for those folks who are wondering who in the LL Cool J is talking right now, that's me. My name, for those folks who don't know, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and I wish you success. Peace. Thanks a lot, Darlene. You rock.
Thank you.
promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Thank you. God bless.